While the world was distracted by headline wars and election drama, a quiet handshake between Thailand and China may have just redrawn the map of power in Southeast Asia. No cameras, no speeches, just a decision that could change everything. And most people have no idea it even happened. This wasn't sealed with fanfare. There were no press conferences, no flashing cameras, no dramatic podium moments. Just a discreet understanding, reached behind closed doors, far from the noise of global media. Yet what transpired in that quiet exchange could quietly unravel decades of geopolitical strategy across one of the world's most contested regions. China and Thailand have reached an agreement, and while the details remain partly veiled, the implications are starting to surface. This is not simply another diplomatic handshake or routine bilateral meeting. It's a calculated maneuver in a much larger contest for influence, one that has been unfolding slowly, methodically, and largely out of sight. If this partnership deepens as planned, it may steadily erode the grip that Western powers have held over Southeast Asia for generations. More importantly, it could pull one of the region's most strategically placed nations firmly into Beijing's embrace. Most of the world knows Thailand through its tourism industry. White sand beaches, ornate Buddhist temples, night markets glowing with color and energy, a land of smiles, street food, and sunsets over the Andaman Sea. But that image, while real, is only a fraction of the story. Beneath the surface of Thailand's cultural richness lies something far more consequential: its geography. Positioned at the heart of mainland Southeast Asia, Thailand serves as a natural bridge. It connects the northern reaches of the region with the southern peninsulas. It sits adjacent to some of the busiest and most economically vital waterways on the planet, corridors through which trillions of dollars in global trade flow every single year. For decades, Bangkok played the diplomatic game with remarkable skill. It maintained strong defense ties with Washington while cultivating warm relationships across Asia. It was the definition of strategic balance, friendly to all, beholden to none. But that equilibrium is starting to crack. Quietly, steadily, Thailand has begun leaning eastward. Not dramatically, not all at once, but unmistakably. And Beijing has been waiting. The full terms of the deal have not been made public. That in itself tells you something, but enough has surfaced to sketch the outline of what's being built. At the center of this partnership is Thailand's Eastern Economic Corridor, a sprawling development zone stretching along the country's eastern coast. It's already home to deepwater ports, industrial estates, and emerging tech hubs. But with fresh Chinese capital pouring in, the EEC is poised to become something far bigger, a regional powerhouse of manufacturing, logistics, and innovation. China isn't doing this out of charity. In exchange for financing roads, ports, railways, and digital infrastructure, Beijing secures something invaluable: deeper economic penetration and strategic positioning inside Thailand. This includes improved access to the Gulf of Thailand, a body of water that offers an alternative route to the heavily monitored and often tense South China Sea. Why does that matter? Because it gives China a backup plan, a way to move goods, project influence, and avoid choke points patrolled by U.S. and allied naval forces. But the scope of this partnership goes beyond trade and transport. It extends into cutting-edge technology sectors: artificial intelligence, cloud computing, next-generation telecommunications. And there are growing signs that it may soon include military cooperation as well: joint training exercises, access to Thai naval facilities, shared intelligence and operational knowledge. This is not just commerce. This is alignment. Among all the moving parts of this agreement, one project stands out above the rest: the high-speed rail line that will link Bangkok to Kunming in China's Yunnan province, passing through Laos along the way. This is not just a train, it's a lifeline, a physical manifestation of a shifting world order. Once completed, this railway will directly integrate Thailand into China's sprawling rail network, a system that already spans continents through the Belt and Road Initiative. Goods that once had to travel by sea, exposed to storms, piracy, and geopolitical pressure, will now have a fast, secure, and reliable overland alternative. For China, this is a strategic masterstroke. It reduces dependency on vulnerable maritime routes. It accelerates delivery times across Southeast Asia. And it embeds Chinese infrastructure so deeply into the region that reversing course becomes nearly impossible. For Thailand, the benefits are tangible. More investment, expanded trade, economic growth, greater connectivity to the world's second-largest economy. But those benefits come with strings. With every kilometer of track laid, Thailand moves a step closer to Beijing's orbit and a step further from Washington's. From Beijing's vantage point, this is textbook strategy. Expand influence without military aggression. Secure trade routes without firing a shot. Build dependencies that are harder to break than any treaty. Thailand is the ideal partner for this approach. It's politically stable, geographically central, economically ambitious, and crucially, it's open to deals that don't come with lectures about governance or democracy. Through this partnership, China gains what it has long sought, a safer, faster, and more dependable way to move goods and project economic strength across Southeast Asia. And it does so without provoking the kind of backlash that military bases or overt territorial claims would trigger. The railway is the symbol, but the reality is much broader. This is about embedding influence through concrete, fiber optics, and capital. It's about making yourself indispensable, and it's working. For Thailand, this is a high-stakes wager. The potential upside is enormous. Faster modernization, enhanced regional stature, a leading role in Southeast Asia's digital and economic transformation, access to Chinese expertise in AI, smart cities, and advanced manufacturing. But every bet has a downside, and this one could be costly. By tilting toward Beijing, Thailand risks straining a relationship it has relied on for over 7 decades, its partnership with the United States. Thailand is one of Washington's oldest allies in Asia, a designated major non-NATO ally, a status shared by only a handful of nations worldwide. For years, American and Thai forces trained together. Intelligence flowed both ways, economic ties deepened, cultural exchanges flourished. That foundation was built on mutual trust and shared interests. Now, it's being tested. Washington is watching Thailand's moves closely, and the response, while still measured, is growing sharper. Defense aid is being reassessed. Military cooperation is under review. Diplomatic language is cooling. The message is clear: drift too far toward China, and you may find yourself drifting away from us. Thailand's shift is also exposing fractures within ASEAN, the 10-nation bloc that has long championed regional unity and collective progress. Some members, like Cambodia and Laos, have already embraced Chinese investment with open arms. Others, including Vietnam and the Philippines, remain wary. They have their own territorial disputes with Beijing. They fear losing sovereignty. They worry about becoming economically dependent on a power that doesn't always play by the same rules. Thailand's visible lean toward China is forcing the region to confront an uncomfortable truth. ASEAN's unity was always more aspirational than actual. And now, as member states choose different paths, that unity is fraying. If Thailand continues down this road, it could set a precedent. Other nations may follow. Or the bloc could fracture further, weakening its ability to speak with one voice on issues that affect them all. Either way, the organization that once symbolized Southeast Asian solidarity is facing its most serious test in years. One of the least visible but most consequential dimensions of this partnership is digital infrastructure. Through what Beijing calls the Digital Silk Road, an offshoot of the Belt and Road Initiative, China is exporting its technological ecosystem to countries eager to modernize quickly. Thailand is embracing this opportunity. 5G networks are expanding. AI-driven platforms are being deployed. Smart city projects are rolling out in major urban centers. On the surface, it looks like progress. Faster internet, smarter infrastructure, greater efficiency. But beneath that surface lie serious questions. Who controls the data flowing through these networks? What happens to privacy when surveillance technology is baked into the system? And can a country truly maintain its digital sovereignty when its core infrastructure is designed, built, and potentially monitored by a foreign power? Chinese tech giants like Huawei are already deeply embedded in Thailand's digital landscape. If that presence continues to grow unchecked, Thailand's technological future may increasingly mirror China's present hyper-efficient, hyper-connected, and hyper-controlled. The challenge for Bangkok is whether it can capture the benefits of rapid digital modernization without surrendering the autonomy to decide how that technology is used and who gets to see what's happening inside it. What started as economic cooperation is now spilling into the security realm, and that's where things get complicated. Joint military exercises between Thai and Chinese forces are becoming more frequent. Reports suggest that China may soon gain expanded access to Liam Chabang, one of Thailand's most strategically important ports. If that happens, it would extend Chinese naval reach deeper into the Gulf of Thailand and bring Beijing closer to the Indian Ocean, a development that would rattle India, Australia, Japan, and the United States. There's also talk of arms sales, defense technology transfers, and deeper coordination on regional security matters. While there's no confirmed plan for a permanent Chinese military base on Thai soil, the infrastructure being built and the level of cooperation being discussed keep that possibility alive in strategic circles. What began as roads and railways is evolving into something that looks increasingly like a security partnership. And that shift changes everything. Thailand's evolving relationship with China is not happening in isolation. It's part of a larger transformation sweeping across Southeast Asia, one in which old alliances are weakening and new alignments are taking shape. For decades, the United States was the dominant external power in the region. Its military presence, economic influence, and diplomatic reach were unmatched. But China's rise has changed the equation. Beijing now offers an alternative: investment without interference, infrastructure without ideology, partnership without pressure. And for many nations in the region, that's, an attractive proposition. If Thailand continues on its current path, it could become one of China's most important partners in Southeast Asia, a centerpiece in Beijing's strategy to counter American influence across the Indo-Pacific. But greater importance also means greater vulnerability. Thailand could find itself trapped between two superpowers, pressured from both sides, forced to navigate an increasingly dangerous geopolitical landscape with shrinking room to maneuver. The real question facing Thailand is this: can it leverage its position between major powers to enhance its own influence and independence? Or will it become a prize in a contest it cannot control, constrained by the very rivalry it hoped to benefit from? The answer will shape not just Thailand's future, but the future of the entire region. Because if Thailand, a nation that once defined strategic balance, can be pulled decisively into one camp, what does that mean for smaller, less powerful nations trying to chart their own course? Geopolitical shifts don't always arrive with sirens and breaking news tickers. Sometimes they unfold quietly. A railway here, a port deal there, a technology partnership signed in private. Individually, they seem manageable. Collectively, they redraw the map. Thailand's agreement with China may not dominate headlines today, but years from now, historians may look back on this moment as a turning point. The moment when Southeast Asia's center of gravity began to shift eastward, not through conquest or coercion, but through concrete, capital, and calculated patience. The tracks are being laid, the ports are being expanded, the servers are being installed, And with each new connection, the region is being wired into a new reality. The silent shift is already underway. The only question left is how far it will go and whether anyone can still change its direction. So, what do you think? Is Thailand making a smart strategic move or trading long-term independence for short-term growth? Could this partnership reshape the entire region or will it backfire? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your perspective. And if this kind of deep geopolitical analysis is your thing, hit that subscribe button because we're just getting started. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.